Hi, anybody out there? This is Paula. This is whoever holds the stone. Here is the stone that we got from Tom Major. And I'm here with Richard and my son Tom on drums. And today I want to start the show with something from Life of Pi, which I'm reading. I've been reading this for a couple weeks. Apparently they sanitized the movie version because there's some really gruesome stuff about the wildlife on the lifeboat in the book, but I'm not going to read that. I'm going to read this thing about fear, which I thought was really interesting. It's kind of long, so bear with me. I must say a word about fear. It is life's only true opponent. Only fear can defeat life. It is a clever, treacherous adversary, how well I know. It has no decency, respects no law or convention, shows no mercy. It goes for your weakest spot, which it finds with unerring ease. It begins in your mind, always. One moment you are feeling calm, self-possessed, happy. Then fear, disguised in the garb of a mild-mannered doubt, slips into your mind like a spy. Doubt meets disbelief, and disbelief tries to push it out. But disbelief is a poorly armed foot soldier. Doubt does away with it with little trouble. You become anxious. Reason comes to do battle for you. You are reassured. Reason is fully equipped with the latest weapons in technology. But to your amazement, despite superior tactics and a number of undeniable victories, reason is laid low. You feel yourself weakening, wavering. Your anxiety becomes dread. Fear next turns fully to your body, which is already aware that something is terribly wrong. Already your lungs have flown away like a bird, and your guts have slithered away like a snake. Now your tongue drops dead like an opossum, while your jaw begins to gallop on the spot. Your ears go deaf. Your muscles begin to shiver as if they had malaria, and your knees to shake as though you were dancing. Your heart strains too hard, while your sphincter relaxes too much. And so with the rest of your body, every part of you, in the manner most suited to it, falls apart. Only your eyes work well. They always pay proper attention to fear. Quickly you make rash decisions. You dismiss your last allies, hope and trust. There you've defeated yourself. Fear, which is but an impression, has triumphed over you. The manner is difficult to put into words. For fear, real fear, such as shakes you to your foundation, such as you feel when you are brought face to face with your mortal end, nestles into your memory like a gangrene. It seeks to rot everything, even the words with which you speak. So you might fight hard to express it. You must fight hard to shine the light of words upon it, because if you don't, if your fear becomes a wordless darkness that you avoid, perhaps even manage to forget, you open yourself to further attacks of fear because you never truly fought the opponent who defeated you.
Do you think fear is more connected to the subconscious than the conscious?
I think fear is a tool that we have, that we're given. Because without fear, you wouldn't be able to prolong your life. Let's say you're in a situation with a tiger in a lifeboat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't try to think through to fix the problem. Or if you're in an alley and you hear footsteps behind you, you wouldn't. Without fear, you would just keep walking, and the person would catch. It's a tool, and that adrenaline, like with what happened when my house filled with smoke, that adrenaline that surges into your body gives you strength. Who knows if I would have been able to break down that door without that extra strength of the adrenaline. So it's a tool, but it affects, it's not only, it's both. It's mental and physical. You know, your body reacts and your mind becomes super focused on getting you out of that danger. So, I mean, do you have anything you're afraid of? Are you afraid of anything?
Well, I was wondering if I have fears that I am not even aware of that dictate my behavior.
I think that we're all kind of pre-programmed with fears, like things that my mother made me afraid of. You know, unless you can work through those fears. I don't know that. Is there something that you avoid?
Well, I was having a discussion with Jason today, and he likes to talk a lot about himself.
Oh, I think.
So he was talking about something that is going wrong in his life, and he blamed his circumstances. Namely, he's in a loveless marriage.
Right.
And I said, you seem to blame that a lot. Because he said the reason he's not doing doctor things anymore because he was in a loveless marriage. I said, I thought it was because you saw so many horrific things. And he said, no, I could handle all those, but I couldn't handle those and the loveless marriage. So the loveless marriage is the actual cause.
Oh.
So anyway, I said, well, what's the solution to the problem? And he said, medication, second thing, and therapy. And I said, therapy. I said, do you have a therapist lined up? And he started giving me all the reasons why he doesn't have a therapist lined up. And believe me, he probably has 100 reasons why he doesn't. So I had to keep answering all of his reasons. So one reason is, I don't know of a good therapist. I said, well, when a new restaurant opens up, you don't know if it's good. You got to try it out. Yeah, but at a restaurant, they give you a menu, and a therapist doesn't give you a menu. I said, well, what you do is you call a therapist group, and you ask the receptionist who handles motivation problems. Yeah, but how do I know I'll get a good one? Just like a restaurant. You try it out, and you can tell if it works. So I had to keep doing it over and over. And I thought, maybe there's something he's afraid of that he doesn't even know.
Yeah. See, what you're saying reminds me of a moment, like a breakthrough moment that I had when I was like maybe before I moved back to Buffalo from New York. I was about 30. And I was going through this litany. Somebody was asking me, well, why don't you change this? And why? And I'd say, yeah, but. You know, I did the whole thing. And then it occurred to me, and it blew my mind. My stepfather had been dead for 13 years, and he was still controlling my behavior. And when I realized that, it was a breakthrough moment. I could move forward. But until I realized that...
It's almost like you identified the thing you were afraid of.
I had this... I was blaming him for ruining my life. But who was ruining my life after he was dead? Me. And it was such a simple thing, but it took a long time to internalize it. But once you make that realization, you can go on with your life. But in order to do that, most people need. I mean, I've had therapy, but most people need a therapist. And you're right. The only way to find a good therapist is to check some out. You know, you are under no obligation to keep going back to the same therapist, and you can't expect the therapist to cure you in one session. You know, especially therapy. That's something you have to dig down deep to get those pieces that are sticking with you. Like, I mean, I hate to keep harping on Jason because I like Jason, but that whole conversation we had last week with him about people can't change. We know that's not true because we've gone through a series of changes in our lives.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation.
And I don't think that it's just about something that you're physically addicted to, because basically, if you have behaviors that are holding you back, you can identify those behaviors and you can say, okay, so how do I go about changing that behavior so that I'm not a big pain in the ass, or so that I'm not self-harming myself, by using food or sex or one of those other things that people use besides alcohol and drugs, But I think we all have things that we're still not aware of that are motivating us subconsciously.
So our friend Frederick Seaton said the following on the show yesterday. Mm-hmm. Art is the infidel that picks the lock to our subconscious that the conscious mind is too fearful of opening.
That's interesting idea. I think that's what surrealism was trying to do.
I didn't think of that, and he is a big fan of surrealism.
Yeah. I think that surrealism was trying to alter the way people think, mm-hmm. like this is not a hat. Mm-hmm. So I would like to have him on the show. If you're watching, you're probably not. Frederick, we'd like you on the show. Art just like the jester in the court. The jester was the one who could speak truth to power. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I haven't heard a lot of stories about jesters getting their head cut off because they said the wrong thing at court, but they were really good at talking about it and pushing the envelope, Mm-hmm. So there's got to be a way around. That's one of the things I like about this Spinoza's philosophy guy that has posted all these things about religion. Mm. He's talking mostly about don't be afraid of looking your beliefs in the face and saying that this does not make sense. Mm. And don't be afraid of that because that's what hi Mick. Mick, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Everything, we should question everything. Our parents taught us things, and then at some point we stopped trusting our parents' opinions because, maybe we got educated a little bit more than they did.
Well, William Burroughs said it started with Santa Claus. At some point you realize if they lied to me about that, what else did they lie to me about?
Right. And I mean, for me, it was my mother promised me an elephant for my birthday and she did not deliver. And I never trusted her again after that, but all that stuff our parents told us, if we stop trusting our parents, we have to look at all the stuff they told us to see what parts were bullshit, because a lot of it was just to protect us. I hope so, Mick, because I sent him a letter this year and I had a lot of stuff on there. So there's a point where you have to either accept it all or question it all. And there's so many people walking around in this world who have just what is that saying? They drank the Kool-Aid. They just drank the Kool-Aid and they don't want to think any further than that. It's too much responsibility to figure it out, to look at it that closely, and then figure out what you believe. Mm. It's too hard. That's like Jason said last week. It's too hard to look at yourself and fix the pieces that need to be fixed. Mm. It's hard. Yeah, it is hard. But what else are we doing here? Why are we here, Richard?
Human beings or me and you?
Yeah, no, I mean human beings. Why are we here?
Well, that's a tough question because that has to do with purpose. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be an individual thing that doesn't apply to, but applies to you personally.
That's true, but we're fed all of these ideas about religion and about but they're all put into place by the power structure. And so if we continue along those lines, the powerful people get richer, and we remain submissive. There's a reason we were called sheep. We weren't called bulls or stallions, or these are all male images, but there's a reason for that. Follow along meekly, so we can control you. And that's what this guy that writes these things about Spinoza's theology talks about, and how the Ten Commandments. Oh, he made a really good point. So I never thought that Moses wrote the those books of the Bible. I didn't really believe that, but his point was really fun. He said that, okay, all along in the book of the book where they were talking about the laws, right? Everything was hunky dory until you got to the end, and then all of a sudden Moses is talking about years and years and years after he's dead. And there has never again been a prophet as wise as Moses, and Moses is supposed to have written that.
That's a tough one.
I know. That's what I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was also interested in what they were talking about on No Exit. This idea about misogyny.
Yeah. Is there a good definition of misogyny?
I asked AI, and I think AI gave me a pretty good definition here. It said, okay, let me get that. All right, I just said, can you give me a definition of misogyny? It says, misogyny is broadly defined as a hatred of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against women and girls. While it is often used interchangeably with sexism, it usually refers to a more intense or hostile form of anti-woman sentiment. But then it goes on to say that under misogyny, it's a key point, treating women as objects or tools for male use, pleasure, rather than being independent human beings. And that's how I've always kind of used it. And belittling and devaluation, dismissing women's ideas, professional competence, or personal autonomy simply because they are women. Right? So that all falls under misogyny. But if you deny someone's delusions just because they're a woman, that doesn't make you a misogynist. If somebody's having delusions and you say, no, that's not happening, that just makes you a good friend.
Good way of putting it.
So anyway, I was just interested in, so it gives a breakdown. So for sexism, it says the ideology or belief system, it suggests that one sex is naturally superior, or that men and women should occupy certain roles. Sexism wears a lab coat. It tries to justify itself with theories, whereas misogyny, the hostility or action, it is the anger or punishment directed at women who don't follow those rules. And misogyny goes on witch hunts. It is aggressive and reactive. So, but I mean, I don't. People, women are people and men are people. We're not exactly the same, but we're still people.
So do you agree or disagree? There's a thing called the female mind and the male mind.
I think that's mostly indoctrinated.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised that we think alike on this. I think there's the mind.
Yeah.
And then the circumstances that the mind is in. And one of your circumstances is your body.
Yeah, right. So there are different things. I mean, we have different biological processes, but it doesn't mean that we're Cleric and rogues. Okay. So no, it wasn't actually. It wasn't Nessa. It was that conversation about.
Yeah, it was
there
from
was
Jason because he
Jason.
got accused of it, and I said,
Yeah.
"Are you one?" And he said, "I have no idea."
I don't think. Well, I don't think that the situation where he was called one warranted that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's just responding to somebody else's delusional beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what I believe. That's what I think. Not saying that he doesn't have some sexist tendencies.
Well, he made a statement once to me that I thought was sexist, and tell me if you think it's sexist.
Okay.
It was on the subject of sex itself.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the best thing you can do for your partner when you're having sex is only to worry about your own pleasure.
Oh, fuck that. No.
I said, can you elaborate on that? He said, sure. He said, because if each person focuses on their own pleasure, it'll be a successful event for both people.
Okay, so how deep into the woods do you want to go here with sex?
Well, if you have a way of disproving that, I'd like to hear it.
Well, okay, so, all right, I think I got a way to say this. All right, women, and I don't care if Jason's a doctor or not, there's no such thing as an orgasm without clitoral stimulation for a woman. So, if he's saying that a woman is supposed to provide that for herself, that's just as good as him saying, in order for me to come to a climax while I'm having sex with a woman, I'm going to masturbate.
Ah, that's an interesting analogy.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you are stimulating each other, that's an act of sex with two people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, masturbation is making love to somebody that you suppose. What was the quote from? I don't remember what the quote was. Masturbation is having sex with someone I love, but I don't really love myself. It was Woody Allen. Yeah, it was so but I don't really love myself, so I guess it's casual sex. That's what he said. But yeah, so that idea, I mean, if there is no foreplay, first of all, you're not going to get a good reaction with your partner. Some women are just biologically, their bodies are different. Their stimulation is closer to their vagina, so maybe they can have an orgasm by regular coitus.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not usually the case.
Mm.
And I've talked to a lot of women about this, and they all have the same idea: is that okay? It's not they're dirty minds. Yeah. So naughty mouth. What I said? Clitoris. That's a naughty mouth. So anyway.
Well, here's an interesting quote about what Mick just brought up.
Okay.
This woman was talking about her education in sex. Mm-hmm. And she said, and would you believe it? I was actually taught that sex is something very dirty.
Oh, well, if you're a Catholic, that's how you're brought up, yeah.
But then you know what she followed it up with? And then I found out it is, but only when you do it right. Now, does she have a point? Like, there's a threshold. When you go past it, then there's no rules.
Between two people who are consenting adults, there shouldn't be any rules. Whatever's going to work for them should be okay. You know, I mean, aside from, hurting each other physically, there should, I mean, I don't understand that whole idea of pain and pleasure combined. That does not, and that, Mick, you might have some different opinions about that, knowing your knife collection there.
His last girlfriend was from the kink community.
Oh, yeah, I don't do that, and I don't get it. But between two people, whatever floats your boat, as long as you're both. But you can't. I can't imagine being. So for a woman who is basically laying there being a vessel for a man, That's not that much fun. It's really not. And after a while, and it's painful. So, I see mixed neck. I'm responding to that. But so, what did you think when he said that
About the
about his own pleasure?
I challenged him on that. Mm-hmm. You know, and the conversation went nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of men don't want to know because it's more work for them.
Mm.
You know, and if they're only viewing women as sexual objects and vessels, they don't really want to put that extra work in. It's not fun for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it should be fun for both.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the any of the episodes of Downton Abbey?
I haven't watched it. Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. I've watched the whole TV series, and now they're on the fourth
It's supposed
movie.
to be pretty hot, isn't it?
It's well written. They're all very well. And the writer of the whole series is Julian Fellows, I think his name is. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's good at dialogue. Oh my goodness, is he good? He will sometimes have a character. I'll say something to you, and then you don't respond, but he just shows your face,
Yeah.
so we can tell what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So he does. He
like that
does
kind
a
of
lot
acting,
of clever
yeah.
things. And this one woman who's in her 60s is going to retire, and she confides in another woman. She says, "Well, of course, you know, I'm retiring because now I have a husband, and I have a feeling that he has expectations of me, and I'm a little worried because I've never been involved." They had to say it in such a way that it was proper English etiquette, you know. And I'm not sure I can meet those expectations, or if I want to. And then the other woman, like you see the light bulb go over her head. Oh, that's what you mean. She says, "Well, I just want to let you know, don't fear those expectations because it could be a lot of fun."
Yeah, well, I mean, that kind of reminds me of Dangerous Liaisons, where he trains, the one guy trains that young woman in all of the debauchery of, you know, that she could possibly learn. He tells her he's training her for her marriage.
Oh.
And how is she going to go into that marriage bed knowing all this stuff that he's been, you know, I mean, it was...
And was he just gaslighting her?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, gaslighting. That's another thing you guys talked about
Yeah.
on the show. Gaslighting, this is gaslighting. The person you're living with comes home and they're obviously drunk and they smell of woman's perfume. And you say to them, "Where were you?" And they say, "Oh, you're so suspicious. There's something wrong with you. You always think the worst." I don't know. There's something wrong. I don't know if I can be in this relationship with you because you're psychotic. That's gaslighting.
I see.
Yeah.
That's a good example. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah. So that is. I thought about that example when I was listening to the show.
So speaking of Jason,
Welcome to the Jason Dialect Show.
he has signed up to be on Bumble. You know how Bumble works? It's pretty cool.
I don't.
Free to sign up. Mm-hmm. And so you sign up, and then you put up your picture.
Uh-huh.
And you put up a summary of yourself. And they ask you, make sure this is in your summary, make sure this is in your summary. They give you a cheat sheet kind of, you know. So so you do that. Then you wait for the woman to show an interest. Mm-hmm. Because as many it's totally skewed toward women, Bumble.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is why they give it away for free. Okay?
Right.
So if a woman shows interest in you, boop, pops up. Oh, you have somebody who's interested. If you want to respond, you must now become a member. So much, et cetera. Somebody popped up on his profile. Somebody's interested. So he pays the money, and now he can respond. Now, here's my question for you. He admitted he did something wrong in the way he responded, because as soon as he responded, boop, interest negated. He got defriended.
He probably said something sexual too fast.
Well, what he said is he explained to her how important physical closeness is and why sex is necessary. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she didn't like that. But what would be your advice? What could he have said that might have gotten an alternate?
I'm interested in getting to know you as a person. Mm. That would be a good one. Mm-hmm. What do you like? What kinds of things do you hope for in the future? Mm. What are your interests? What kind of music do you like? Even silly things like what's your favorite color would be better than because I was on dating sites for a while, years ago. Mm-hmm. And if somebody asks you what size bra you wear, you immediately shut that person down. Mm. That's not, that has nothing to do with who I am, Mm-hmm. But, I mean, maybe some women respond well to that because they feel that their body is all they have to offer, but that's not a well-adjusted, that's not somebody you want to have a relationship with. Mm-hmm. But if he's just interested in sex, aren't there other things out there like Grindr? And I think Grindr's gay, though.
Oh, is it?
But there's another one. Tom, do you know what it is? Yeah. Tinder. That's all about sex. People just want to have sex with each other.
I'm going to recommend that to him.
Yeah. It's just kind of hookups, which I find very weird. Meeting somebody for the first time and just having sex with them. I just think
divorcing the feeling from the experience.
Yeah, or maybe that's what people do who are afraid of relationships, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Well, remember that famous movie from the 70s, Last Tango in Paris?
Yeah.
Both people wanted a relationship with no feeling. Mm. And then until one of them said, I want more. And it totally scared the other person. Like, what are you doing? Are you nuts?
There was a point in my, I became very detached for when I was working and going to school. And sometimes I'd work 2 jobs and I was still going to school.
Yeah.
Where I said, I'm free on Thursdays. I'm just going to look for somebody to have sex with on Thursdays. Can't be anybody I like too much. Because I don't want a relationship. I don't want to get attached to this person. Mm-hmm. I would joke with my girlfriends about this. This is all I want out of life is somebody to have sex with on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. And so I started, my girlfriends and I sat down and we started writing up an application for my sex partner on Thursdays. We were just doing it as a joke. Uh-huh. And somehow it got around and people were laughing about it because they thought it was so funny.
Sure.
And so I happened to be at this restaurant and I was going in with some friends. And who comes out of the restaurant, of all people, and how he got just to this, I don't know. It was Neil. Mm. Neil was walking out of the restaurant, and I said hi to him, and he grabbed my arm and he said, I'm free on Thursdays.
Almost as if he was in on
He knew somebody had told him that whoever it was, one of my friends or somebody's friend told a friend.
Yeah, it was too specific to be accidental.
Yeah. But, I remember that, and you know how I responded? I said, that must mean your prostate problem is fixed. So that was quite a conversation to have in the parking lot. Mm. But, I don't remember how I got off on this tangent now.
Oh, because we're talking about separating feeling from.
Oh yeah, feeling from. But I tried that, and the thing is, it wasn't my nature to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I had been forced by bad relationships into thinking like that. Like I can't do this anymore. I'm not a lesbian. I don't feel like I want to be a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
I just want this person. But I remember feeling very strongly about that, and something changed, and I came back to reality, and I said, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and this time I know better than to pick these people who are, pricky. Nah.
There's a whole book that came out this year about the role that if you leave things up to luck, you're in good company, because so much in the history of humanity has been based on luck. I didn't realize this, but when the dinosaurs went extinct, an asteroid hit the Earth in the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah.
If it had been 30 minutes earlier or 30 minutes later, the dinosaurs would not have gone extinct.
Did you watch that? Was that part? Because they talk about that on that YouTube thing I sent you.
Oh, that's where I was.
Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it fabulous?
Oh, you're the one who told me about that.
Yeah.
The Sam Harris thing.
Yeah, I really liked that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had a lot of joy, in talking about this
I know,
stuff.
he's very enthusiastic.
Yeah, I liked that about him. But yeah, I know. That's amazing to me. All the stuff that I didn't. There were a few things he said. The one was the asteroid, and what was the other thing that he said that caused a big shift?
Oh, the continents.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about that either. I thought that was fascinating about how it just kept going up and then it caused this ice age, and the geology is fascinating. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you watched it, because I thought
I'm still in the process of listening.
Yeah, I watched that. It's about an hour and a half long. I think it took me three bike trips on my to watch it.
Funny you should say that.
Yeah.
Because somebody, our friend Jim Lazinski, was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah, Greg sent him a message.
I said, write back and tell me what you did. And he said, well, my wife wanted to go see the new Avatar movie.
Oh.
And he said, so we went. And he said, I'm sitting there, 3.5 hours goes by, and he goes, that's a long time to be sitting.
Yeah. Did he go see it at the IMAX?
I don't know. I would think he did.
That's the only way.
His wife was the one who really wanted to see it, so she probably wanted to see the full thing. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's for me. I said, that's 7 miles. See?
Yeah, 7. Because on my bike I do 6 miles in half an hour.
Oh.
So
So that means you're 6 miles in a half hour.
Yeah.
So you're probably going at 5 miles an hour.
No, 12.
Oh, you go at 12 miles an hour?
It's 12 miles an hour because
Oh.
but I'm not walking. So 'cause the bike is different than.
Of course,
than,
yeah, it's a different parameter.
Yeah. So that's how I usually I'll either talk to my sisters or I'll watch No Exit, or I'll watch our show, just watch it back. That's what I watch. I can't get into a lot of the television stuff. So, all right. So you have stuff on your list, I'm sure.
I do. If you could add a commandment to the 10 Commandments, what would it be?
This guy that I've been listening to, the Spinoza philosophy,
Yeah.
he talked about that, about what commandments there should have been as opposed to what was on the list of 10 commandments.
Uh-huh.
And the one he said, was it's part of the Buddhist philosophy, do no harm. That would be a good one. Or it says honor thy father and thy mother, why can't it be honor thy children? You know, that's, what would you add?
Well, I started, I came up with an answer, and then I said, well, then this would be good, and this would be good, and this would be good. So
How many
first I-
commandments are we up to?
Yeah, exactly. So the first one I came up is slavery is immoral.
That's one that he put on the list.
And then I said, well, if you know, if you're going to put that up, then you should say something about there are no people that are superior to other people.
Well,
So that would apply to women.
yeah. Oh,
And it would apply to racism.
Right.
Or you could just say, you know, any form of hatred against women is wrong. Any form of hatred against somebody of another race is wrong.
yeah.
See?
Hatred is wrong. Yeah, that would only make one. But the slavery thing, and I'll send you some of these Spinoza things. I think that there's a couple of them you would enjoy. But the first 3 commandments are about God,
Yeah,
not about how to treat each other.
right. You don't need those.
What kind of God would need
Reassurance like that.
peons? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
I mean, that makes no sense.
yeah.
So how many did you end up with?
Oh, so many of them. They just kept coming. Then I said, well, why don't we make it more personal? You shouldn't interrupt someone when they're talking. Or another one I thought of was you should frequently, at least once a day, end one of your sentences with, "I might be wrong. Tell me what you think."
Yeah, that is a good one. One of the other commandments that this guy came up with was treat the earth with respect. You know, simple things like that. I mean, it's not simple. It's because we grew up as the human race thinking that the earth was at our disposal. You know.
Yeah. In fact, do you remember the on the Sistine Chapel where God is trying to touch?
Yeah.
So I was asking people, what is being communicated with that touch? Now, some people said consciousness. I said, it doesn't sound right, because if you look at the painting, Adam is conscious.
Yeah.
Giving Adam a soul was another one. Then, of course, you say, well, what is the soul? Isn't the soul consciousness? But an interesting one was, as soon as he touched Adam, he gave Adam the power over the rest of the earth. Like the animals are now subservient to you. And I thought, wow, where'd you come up with that? That's a weird one.
Well, if I can't wait to read some more Spinoza. That's I'm really into this now. You know, I think you had mentioned this to me a couple times, and I said I believe that everything's connected, and you said that Spinoza, you know, like common, but maybe it's imbuing Adam with with God's life force, which is, you know,
The understanding that everything is connected?
that they're part of the same thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just spitballing here, you know, but they're part of the same thing. So I'm really into this idea that we can't, you know, this veils of perception, that we can't really see the big picture, that we're just not able to, like we're living, like the things that live in our intestines, they can't figure out where they are and what the context of their being is. I think we're in the same boat. I think there's something bigger, we just can't see it. And I don't know if that's true, but it's an idea.
It's an idea. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hypothesis. Now we have to test it.
Yeah, I mean, how do you test something like that?
That's called metaphysics. Hypothesis that can't be tested.
Yeah, you can't test it. It's just I just, from all the reading I've been doing and all the contemplating I've been doing, I just feel this sense of this big thing, and because you can go down really, really far into microscopic and things we can't even see.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, there's two theories about
why not
that.
extrapolate outward?
Oh,
You know, that would make scientific sense.
is there a boundary farther than the biggest thing, or is there an end where the biggest thing is
I don't
the
think
biggest thing?
I don't think it. There's. I think it's immeasurable.
It could just keep going up.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's an idea. It's not a belief. I just like the idea.
Well, there's a school of thought in physics that has to do with the opposite, where it keeps getting smaller. So you get such a thing, and you break it apart. Oh, look, the atom's made up of quarks. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, what happens when you get down to the smallest thing and you can't break it apart, or you break it apart and you discover now what's there? You break a quark apart.
Yeah. That's.
And so one school says you find the thing that you can't break apart, and that's the smallest thing. And the other school, and this is interesting, you break apart the thing and there's an idea. And the idea can't be broken apart. In other words, it's part of this quantum belief that your mind and reality are connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, the ideas in your mind affect what goes on in reality, because at the ultimate bottom of reality, it's just idea.
Huh. That's an interesting idea. I don't know how you'd prove that, but I did listen to something recently about quantum mind.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting about the scientific research that they're doing into it. And I don't know. I mean, it sounds a lot like a scientific description of what people call psychic behavior. Like there's a connective tissue between, not everyone, but they are finding that actually people can communicate through something at a distance. And I mean, the scientists are examining this now. It's not just hokum. So I don't know. I wonder what that was. I'll look on my history of my YouTube history, because I think you'd be interested in that as well. No, that was the one I sent you. The Illusion of Snow. I have so many things that I listen to that I just get confused. But if I come across that thing about the quantum mind, quantum consciousness, I think they called it. I'll send it to you, because they're doing some interesting studies and scientific studies about this phenomenon.
Well, do you know the thing about on a quantum level, there's two possibilities. And until you observe it, when you observe it, it chooses a possibility. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So in other words, the fact that you're observing something, boop, now that possibility becomes real.
Yeah.
So so that would almost indicate that your mind is affecting it. But you know what?
What?
It also happens if you just have a camera. So it's not necessarily a mind. It's the fact that something is observed, boop, a possibility comes in there.
Yeah, I think I remember there was something in this lecture that was like that, about the observation of how it changes. They change direction, like
well, it goes from a cloud to a particle.
The activity changes if it's being observed, and that's really crazy. That doesn't make any logical sense, but I'm sure we just haven't gotten to the point in our understanding where it makes logical sense.
Yeah, and it opened the door up to a lot of speculation when that experiment. That's an actual experiment.
Yeah. I think they talked about that experiment in this YouTube video that I was watching.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated by that stuff, because it's so outside of what it's paranormal kind of.
Yeah.
But it's scientific. at the same time. So it's interesting.
So my friend had prostate cancer, and he went to Roswell, and he was being treated for it. At the same time, he was, I guess you could say, taken in by an invention that you can buy, which he did.
Yeah.
And you clip your fingernails and you put it in this device, and the device rearranges the atoms in your fingernail, which sends a message to the atoms in your body to get rid of the cancer.
Well,
And everybody said to him, well, you know him, Stan. They said, Stan,
yeah.
this is all nonsense,
Yeah.
And it was at one level, as long as he was going to the doctor and doing this thing. But when he started saying, I'm thinking about not going to the doctor anymore, that's when people picked it up and said, you're a lost soul if you do that. You're a goner.
I think when people get desperate, they want to believe,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain point where people get to when, that's what they say, there's no atheists in foxholes.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that when you're scared for your life.
Oh, yeah. Fear will affect your clear thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like, what I was reading about, it changes everything. And so you think to yourself, and there was a philosopher, we talked about him recently, who said, what are your odds? You either believe or you don't believe, but if you believe and it's true.
Yeah, Blaise Pascal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work if I'm ever in that situation. I just like this idea of God being this connective tissue of everything. I mean, who do you talk to? You don't talk to that connective tissue.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with all these all this research on quantum consciousness. I mean, if it turns out to be true, we could access our brains and our consciousness could access other things out in the atmosphere, like other people's thoughts. I mean, that would be amazing to me. I don't know if it's going to happen. It probably won't happen in my lifetime, but I think it would be fascinating to know those things. There's so much in science. We're just not ready. It's like putting a caveman in an Impala convertible. What would he do with it? We're not ready for that yet. Do you think our minds are evolving?
Oh, definitely.
Me too.
Yeah.
I used to get in fights in school when I was an archaeology student. None of the professors believed it. I do. I don't see how we can stop it.
Well, it's based on the principle that everything changes. And so that includes your mind.
Well, I'm kind of hopeful that the evolution of the mind includes a element of people becoming more peaceful. We are actually than our ancestors. There are more people now who are interested in solving things with intellectual ways rather than with violence.
Well, that's one of the themes of that new Avatar movie. In other words, if you see a primitive people and you say you go to them and you want to have some supplies and trade with them and everything, but you notice that they're being terrorized by another group. Do you say to them, you're not really fighting back against this aggressor, and the reason is you don't understand weapons. Can I show you how to defend yourself? So you do, and they fight off the aggressor, but it changes the way they view things because they have this power now that they didn't have before.
Yeah, I don't think that.
So the movie has this ambiguous message, is it always good to intervene?
Maybe you go to the aggressor and you try to get them to think differently. Yeah, always the optimist. Yeah, so we've got like 5 minutes and 37 seconds left. What else is on your list?
The interesting boxing match that happened this week. I'm sad to say, it's sad to say, but like boxing, if you thought it was corrupt, well, it's reached a new low.
Really?
So there's this social influencer, all right? His name is Jake Paul, but he's a big guy.
Yeah.
And people have been saying to him, you ought to go to a gym and work out and work out. And so he did. And then people at the gym were saying, yo, you could be a boxer. And he goes, really? Yes, you're big enough. You're tall enough. You know, you're 6'1", et cetera. You could be it. Let me show you how to do it. And then the idea went off, I could use this in my social influencing. So he started setting up boxing matches between him and retired fighters. Right. And then all his fans who followed him on social media come, and for a fee, you get to see me fight Mike Tyson, and you get to see me fight so-and-so. Until this week, he picked on a fighter who is not retired, named Anthony Joshua.
Okay.
And everybody was thinking, oh, it looks like Jake Paul is seriously thinking about being a boxer. I mean, he's challenging Anthony Joshua. So they had their boxing match, and it was fascinating. I didn't see the match. I just saw the highlights. Anthony Joshua was studying him for the first 6 rounds. He wasn't throwing any punches. He was just blocking this, until finally in the 6th round, Anthony Joshua said, I've had enough of this. And he knocked him out and broke his jaw with one punch. So then it became time to, okay, the bout is over, and Jake, sorry, you're not a boxer like you thought you were. Now it's time to split the take. So they split up the $93 million were made on this thing, $93 million. And so
It's insane.
So they split it in half. Then it's interesting what happened. Because it was fought in Miami, the United States, U.S. government gets a cut.
Yeah.
Each boxer had to fork over $34 million to the U.S. government. Okay, so that was their
third,
cut.
yeah.
All right. But Anthony Joshua was from England. So now England said, well, you are from England and you did make money, so now we get our cut.
So he had to give a cut to the U.S. government
And to the British government.
Wow.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Jake Paul took home $56 million and Anthony Joshua took home $48 million. And then I wrote down, meanwhile, 206 million Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
And those people that paid for those tickets.
They could have been from that group that lived paycheck
exactly,
to paycheck.
Exactly. So I don't really understand the way people think. I guess there's a level where entertainment becomes like a drug.
Yeah.
And you're self-medicating. You know, it's like in Brazil with Carnival. You know, the government keeps the people in check by.
You got to pay a lot of money to actually attend the parade.
Well, not.
I didn't know that.
You have and if you have the float that wins, you win. You know, lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
But you do it for the whole year. So you're not thinking about corruption in the government. You're not thinking about how you could have a better life. All you're thinking about is that prize at the end of the year,
Sure.
every year.
Yeah.
So their whole life revolves around Carnival, and they don't have anything left. Just like somebody who just drinks too much. They don't have any brain left to worry about they're trying to avoid. They're avoiding their problems. And in this sense, they think that they're solving their problems because they're going to win this big pot at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
And that's how the government keeps them in control. It's crazy. We're a sick world. So anyway, here we are, the two of us. I tried, but not very hard, to get a guest today, and I failed. But maybe I'll contact Frederick Seaton for next week's show. I'll see if he's interested. But do you have anything else you wanted to say during?
Well, I'd like to use AI Gemini. It's getting very irritating how bad it wants to be my friend.
Yeah, I've
It
got.
will no longer give me an answer without saying, since you're such a nice guy and you don't have any beefs against artificial intelligence, let me answer your question. Like, you can leave all that out. You don't have to keep telling
it always
me that.
tells me what it's a great question.
Yeah.
Even if it's a stupid question and I know it. I do ask stupid questions sometimes because I'm lazy. But anyway, we're done. Thank you, Tom, for being our drummer, and thanks, Richard, for providing the space. And bye, everybody, if there's anybody. Mick.